No caffeine, no alcohol, no spicy food, no chocolate, no carbonated beverages, no fatty foods, no greasy foods. Basically, just stop enjoying your life in general. If you have GERD, if you have digestive issues, if you have stomach acid, if you have acid reflux, if you have silent reflux, just basically eat nothing but kale and asparagus, and once in a while have a slice of bread. What's up, guys? This is Justin Spencer here, and I'm going to share my story with you, how I developed and cured my silent reflux and silent reflux / GERD symptoms, and also got rid of any acid reflux that I would experience more frequently than I would definitely want myself to experience. And this is my story on what originally caused my silent reflux and my acid reflux and my GERD symptoms, and basically what was causing those symptoms for me and what I did about it without having to do any basically prescription drugs like proton pump inhibitors or have to take Tums or anything like that. So let's go right into it. So I'm 30 years old, and ever since I was 17 years old, I started drinking a lot of coffee, and I've been doing intermittent fasting almost the entire time for the last 12 years. And I was a big fan of the Starbucks iced black coffees, and I literally drank those on an empty stomach for breakfast pretty much every day for like 10 years. And I never had a problem doing this. And then one day I started noticing that my stomach was having some major issues. And a secondary cause and a secondary reason that I believe got me to the point where I was experiencing horrible silent reflux and acid reflux was I actually went vegan for 1 year. And unfortunately, when I went vegan, I was eating way too much of the Beyond Meats, like the Beyond Meat hamburgers and like the fake chicken patties. And I did a lot of spicy foods because the foods were so bland. I was always eating like tree nuts, like almonds and stuff like that. And it basically, the foods were bland. So as a vegan, I wanted to spice them up, and I ate spicy foods all the time. I had just a lot of soy-based foods that had a low glycemic index, which was a good thing, but they digested so slowly that I believe it led to bloating, which is something I had pretty much never experienced in my entire life. This is actually when I was about 27, 28. And during this bloating process, I never actually, which I never actually experienced before. I think that also led to me developing silent reflux and acid reflux. And so for those of you who don't know the difference between silent reflux and acid reflux is very noticeable. You feel like a burning sensation, like right like in the middle of your chest, and it can go all the way up your throat sometimes, and just to basically an uncomfortable stomach. Silent reflux is in a way even worse because you don't experience any of that. You don't even know that you're causing your body a problem. And basically what my experience with silent reflux was like, I would wake up in the morning, and then at one point my throat felt like I had a golf ball in it. My nose was basically clogged, and like my nasal passages and my sinuses were inflamed, so I could barely breathe through my nose. My chest felt very tight, so it was like hard to breathe through my lungs because my chest felt tight, and I had like a golf ball in my throat, so it's hard to get like air through my throat, and my nose was messed up. And I was like really worried because this was like 3 major symptoms and problems I never experienced any before as like a generally healthy 28, 29, 30-year-old. So I first experienced this, I believe, like right before I turned 30, and I resolved it. But this is like the roadblocks of my story of like what led to me developing it, and then I will then get to what I did about it in order to basically permanently so far fix it and cure it. So the LES, the lower esophageal sphincter, is basically something that is like a doorway between your esophagus and your throat. And for people who drink a lot of coffee or caffeine like myself, the caffeine can actually cause the muscles in your lower esophageal sphincter to rest and relax a little bit too much, to the point where they're not tight enough to do their job to prevent stomach acid from coming back up from your stomach into your esophagus, and it goes up, and basically the stomach acid will burn your throat, which will create all of those symptoms I was talking to you about. So this little concoction right here, which I'm going to share with you today, it's basically a beverage. I'm going to share that little trick with you, and I'm going to also share some other little tricks with you as well that have helped me tremendously get over it and get through this problem, and basically have no negative side effects whatsoever since I've been doing this, which has been basically 18 months. It's been basically 18 months where I've had no problems after implementing these protocols I'm about to share with you. So the first thing that I obviously, of course, did do is once I learned what this was, I stopped drinking alcohol, which wasn't very hard for me to do. I do enjoy drinking red wine before I go to bed, but I cut out that habit. I stopped drinking coffee for about 10 days, And then one other thing I did do, which is unnecessary, is I did a 3-day juice cleanse just in case my body had any stomach ulcers inside of it as a result that I thought that might be causing something like this. And I could go into another story about this as well. Like if you pull a muscle in your leg or something, like at the gym, like lifting weights like I did, and then you go see a doctor and your doctor's like, hey man, you pulled a muscle. You basically just need to rest, ice it, and have some ibuprofen to decrease inflammation, to increase healing. I've had that happen, and if you have too much ibuprofen, that can weaken your stomach lining and potentially cause an ulcer in your stomach, which can take a while, like 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks or longer to go away, which is super frustrating. But that's a completely separate like side story. I have had that happen. That caused me to have to give up caffeine and coffee completely for 10 days at a time. But my point is, I usually drink coffee 7 days a week. I basically don't have any problems at this point, so I'm just sharing little stories about what's caused stomach problems for me in the past, right before I dive right into the solution that works really well for me without you having to take medications, or without you having to give up spicy food, without you having to give up alcohol permanently, without you having to give up carbonated beverages and all that good stuff permanently that I mentioned before, you know, chocolate, salty foods, greasy foods. You don't have to give up all that stuff permanently. My point is, or caffeine or coffee, I believe, I'm not a doctor, but if you follow my protocol, I think that'll make a big difference for you. So let's dive right into that. So I'm going to teach you how to make this smoothie, and this has been a savior for me. It's an excellent option. It's basically a tool in a tool bag. You don't have to make this particular smoothie in order to be able to drink coffee every day in the morning, or as much coffee as you want without any digestive issues. This is basically just something that's worked really well for me, and I have to share it with you, because if it works really well for you too, then you're going to be really happy that I showed you. Here's the sequence of how to make this smoothie. I am actually going to just show you right now. As you're watching that, I will put on the screen basically the nutrition facts, and then the order of everything we're putting in there, and then the brands of everything we're putting in there as well. So let's go ahead and we'll go ahead, watch me make that smoothie, and I'll narrate it and explain to you what I'm doing. Okay, before we dive into how to make the smoothie, I actually just want to show you my logic and me just connecting the facts as to why I chose the ingredients that I chose to deal with silent reflux, acid reflux, and to also basically make this a smoothie that will work well for someone who has these problems. So the first ingredient, one of the ingredients is a banana. So if you go to Google and you type in, is a banana good for acid reflux? That's a simple question. According to AARP.org, they say this low acid fruit can help neutralize stomach acid by coating an irritated esophageal lining. And not only are bananas alkaline, they're also rich in pectin, a soluble fiber that helps keep foods flowing nicely through the digestive tract. So that sounds kind of perfect for someone who wants to drink coffee but can't because they have too many stomach problems related to it. The next ingredient I'm going to show you is kale. So is kale good for acid reflux? Green leafy vegetables are naturally low in fat and sugar and help to reduce stomach acid secretions. Spinach, broccoli, kale, asparagus, and Brussels sprouts are highly alkaline, which are good for the gut and offer respite from acid reflux. So you can see why I have these ingredients in the smoothie. Peanut butter. Is peanut butter good for acid reflux? The University of Pittsburgh Medical Center lists peanut butter as a good option for people with acid reflux. Obviously, you don't want to have too much peanut butter because it is high in fat, and it's like high saturated fats can actually lead to the effect of creating stomach acid. So we only use about 1 tablespoon, so it's not a lot. Almond milk, okay for people with acid reflux. Obviously, if you have like a tree nut allergy or something, you're going to want to swap the almond milk for like coconut milk or oat milk or something. This Australia's own unsweetened is actually what I use here in Manila, Philippines. It's organic, which is useful. So anytime you're going to want to try to have organic ingredients if possible, pay a little extra. It is your body after all, and organic stuff is kind of like the best health insurance. So if you tend to have reflux, almond milk is a great balancer. It's alkaline, so it helps neutralize acidic foods, according to prevention.com. So it's, again, just more of an alkaline type of thing. Coffee, just so you know, is very acidic, and it is one of the ingredients in this particular smoothie. It's like 40-50% of the smoothie itself, if not 60% of the smoothie is the very acidic coffee. So when we have these 4 alkaline balancing foods that we mix in with it, it really does the job and helps your body not have such a problem with it. So without further ado, let's dive right into the smoothie making video. Okay, so this is a chocolate, banana, peanut butter, kale smoothie. Sounds like heaven. It is. It tastes great. It's pretty darn good for you. It's high in protein, high in caffeine, low in sugar, and has a lot of ingredients that are useful for folks who have been having problems with silent or acid reflux, like myself and potentially you on the other end. Here's the nutrition facts breakdown. So this particular smoothie has 24 grams of protein and it has 5.5 grams of BCAAs for muscle recovery and stuff like that, 15 grams of sugar from 1 frozen banana, 2 grams of sugar from 1 tablespoon of peanut butter, 4 grams of protein from that 1 tablespoon of peanut butter, 150 milligrams of caffeine from roughly 12 fluid ounces of iced coffee or cold brew coffee, 3 grams of protein from approximately 100 grams of baby kale, 1 gram of protein from the unsweetened almond milk, and various related to the super greens mix or not. So the total is 32 grams of protein, roughly 18 grams of sugar if you're going to use exactly 1 frozen banana and 1 tablespoon of peanut butter, and 150 milligrams of caffeine, so not bad at all. So the exact ingredients you're going to need are 1 frozen banana, 2 or more cups of baby kale, 1 tablespoon of peanut butter, 1 scoop of chocolate whey protein or your protein powder of choice if you want the protein powder flavoring and protein, 8 fluid ounces of unsweetened almond milk, or if you have a tree nut allergy, you can swap it out for coconut milk or oat milk. And then you can do 12 fluid ounces of iced coffee or cold brew coffee. And the sequence or the order that we're going to do this, that you're about to watch me right now, is first we're going to start off with the almond milk, then we're going to put in the baby kale, followed by a frozen banana, followed by the scoop of protein powder, followed by a scoop of the powdered super greens, which is optional and just provides a lot of other benefits like immunity boost, etc. Then we're going to put in the coffee, and then we're going to blend it, let it settle, blend it again, let it settle, and then blend it a third time and let it settle. We want to let it settle so that the chunks of banana and peanut butter come back down and find the blades so that they're not chunky, and we can avoid having chunks come out into the smoothie, and so it's nice and smooth and, you know, purely liquid. And yeah, so let's dive right into that. Okay, so step number 1, add the almond milk. Followed by that, put in the baby kale, make sure it's packed in there nice and good. Then put in the frozen banana, then put in 1 scoop of whey protein, then 1 scoop of the greens, those are optional, then a little bit of peanut butter, and then last but not least, certainly add your coffee. Blend it 4 or 5 times, pour it in the cup, and you're good to go, my friend. Okay, so trick number 2 is the wedge. You can buy this wedge. This is fantastic for people who are suffering from reflux. I'll put a link in the description as well to the Amazon direct product that I personally purchased. So this wedge is fantastic. It goes directly under your mattress and it helps you. So if you're sleeping on your side, which I always sleep on my left or right side, and that's another little trick. If you're suffering from silent reflux or acid reflux, try to sleep on your left side or on your back. At least 1 pillow to prop your head up. You probably don't need 2 pillows to prop your head up if you have the wedge, because what it's going to do is it's going to put you on an angle. Of course, as you can see, I would not recommend that you get the furniture raisers like you can put under the legs of your bed frame in order to make it higher in height. I would not recommend you do that because it's probably going to make it so that your bed frame breaks or cracks. Even if it's steel, it will bend. So just get the wedge. It costs more money, I know, but you only probably will need to use it for 3 months or 6 months, and then you can easily store it. If the symptoms ever come back, you can just break it out and use it again. I honestly don't mind using it. I don't really see like any downsides to using it, but just in case you happen to find one, you can just use it temporarily to resolve your stomach problems. And as of right now, I'm not using it. I used it for like 12 months and then I stopped, but I still have it in my storage. So just in case I want to break out in the future, I do have it. Another good thing to do if you suspect you might have a stomach ulcer or silent reflux or acid reflux is to do a 3-day juice cleanse, which is where you only have water and then any vitamins you might need if you're deficient on particular vitamins like B6 or B12 or zinc or iron or whatever. Make sure you get all your core nutrients that you might need, or take a multivitamin. But you basically just have water and like green juice, which is just like a blended green juice of like green bell pepper, broccoli, avocado, those little healthy cold pressed juices that you can buy that are basically like whatever, 12 to 16 fluid ounces. For breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you can just drink a juice. You can have some yogurt as well if you want. Try to have low sugar options if at all possible, just because it's a healthier way to go about life. And just a lot of water. Point of doing that for 3 days is if you have a bunch of high fiber vegetables just basically going in, you're gonna flush out your stomach. You're gonna make your stomach very happy. And that cleanse means no food, no solid foods. It means no alcohol, no caffeine, no spicy foods, no chocolate. None of those things I listed earlier. However, that 172-hour sacrifice, which believe me, I know it's hard, it will potentially help your stomach, your intestine, your whole digestive tract kind of get a chance to rebalance itself, to reset itself. And I think they're really overrated, which basically means that this is important to do, and a lot of people won't do it because it's hard. But if you do it, then it is probably going to have a good long-term effect on you. I intend to do this like once every 6 months just because I think it's a healthy routine to have. It also gives me a major psychological advantage. It makes me appreciate food 10 times more than I did before. After I did the cleanse, I could not believe how badly I wanted solid foods and how badly I wanted coffee. And then like for the last night, before I was going to bed, I was thinking to myself like, wow, red wine, black coffee, pancakes, Like those simple basic pleasures of life, I could not believe how much more I appreciated those specific things after having given them up, even just for 3 days, and just like a slice of pizza or just, you know, food, like solid foods. So it also gives you a major psychological appreciation for food. But that being said, let's get on to the next thing that can help you totally cure this permanently for you, or greatly decrease or improve the symptoms as well. So intermittent fasting is the fourth trick. This is something that I recommend, and it's awesome. The way you get into trouble with intermittent fasting is if you do what I did sometimes. So I normally, for like the last 10 years, I would just drink black coffee on an empty stomach for breakfast, and I would eat lunch around 3 p.m. and I would eat dinner around like 7 or 8 p.m. and I wouldn't eat outside of that window. This has given me a lot of benefits, I believe. It's kept me very lean, very muscular. It's given me a lot of energy, a lot of focus, a lot of clarity. I mean, not having to eat or digest anything. You know, it keeps a lot of food out of your stomach a lot of times, but this is where you get into trouble with intermittent fasting. During that food window, you might be so ready to eat and so hungry, and you might think that if you're anything like me, that you get to reward yourself because, you know, you skip breakfast, and you might think to yourself, oh, I skipped breakfast, I'm only eating during the small window, so I gotta get my calories in, and I deserve to eat a lot of food. And what can happen is, if you do eat a ton of food during that window and you eat too fast and you like forget to chew because you're so excited to eat, which was something for me. I was eating too much, I was eating too fast, I was chewing too little. That could create stomach problems because you're overloading your stomach. I would go to Chipotle and get like a double chicken burrito, and I'd get like 3 tacos with that for like lunch. That's a lot. And I would eat it in like 5 minutes. And I was so excited to eat it because I was so hungry, and I would like forget to chew it. I was practically shoveling it into my mouth and swallowing it because, yeah, and that can cause stomach problems because you're overloading your stomach. You're putting too much food in, you might be putting a ton of spicy food in, and then you might be having a lot of coffee before you did that, maybe more coffee after you did that. I got away with this for like 10 to 12 years, so obviously I've had to make some adjustments and pivot a little bit, but make sure if you're gonna do intermittent fasting, which I recommend you do it because there's a lot of benefits, make sure you eat the right amount of food, eat a little bit less than you want to eat, but like stagger it throughout that window, and then like you can have spicy foods, but just like maybe try to counter it with something that is going to that is alkaline, like certain vegetables or something, or, you know, go online, Google it, pick your favorite alkaline things to kind of neutralize some of that stomach acid. But the key is make sure you chew it more slowly and enjoy it and be there, so your stomach has time to recognize what's going on, so you don't have digestive problems as a result of doing it this way. Number 5, I already kind of mentioned this, but if you're suffering from major problems already, a good rule of thumb is to give up caffeine, give up alcohol for at least 10 days, 10 calendar days. If you can do 14, do that. And like in the interim, try to drink tea or try to drink basically nothing related to alcohol or caffeine. I know it sucks. I know it's not fun. I know you're just gonna lower your productivity potentially based off of what you do for a living. I know it's not fun. I totally get that. It destroyed the quality of my life every time I've had to give up coffee, or alcohol is not as big of a deal as for me. I do miss having alcohol sometimes. Like I said, I do like to have red wine or white wine or whatever, or beer every now and then, just because it's enjoyable. But if you can give it up for 10 days, because you already have stomach problems, that would be a great first step one, getting you towards a fast track to basically healing your stomach and addressing the source of the problem. So if you think you're already suffering from stomach problems, try to avoid ibuprofen and Advil, like taking that all the time if you can. If you're getting headaches or something and you're taking ibuprofen like every single day or like twice a week or something, try to address the source of the problem, or speak with, of course, a medical professional or your doctor or whatnot to figure out what the source of that problem is for needing the pain relief from an ibuprofen. Ibuprofen can make the lining of your stomach more weak, and it can leave you more susceptible to damage, of course, like ulcers and other bad things that you don't want in your stomach. And if you get a stomach ulcer, if you've ever had one of those, coffee, alcohol, spicy food, chocolate, greasy foods, fatty foods, all that stuff's gonna like fly out the window. Carbonated beverages, like you're gonna have to basically eating like baby food for like stomach ulcers, like depending on where they're based in your stomach, you don't want one, and they take a long time to heal, even if you're doing everything right, which sucks. So if you can avoid those in the first place, so just be careful of ibuprofen. If your stomach is completely fine and you have zero stomach symptoms, obviously you can take ibuprofen every now and then if you sprain your ankle or you have a muscle injury or if you have a headache or something. I'm not saying don't take it. I'm just understand if you have these problems with GERD or acid reflux or silent reflux, be wary of how much you're taking and how often you're taking it. What are my thoughts on Prilosec or protein pump inhibitors or H2 receptors blockers? I have never taken these. I have never wanted to take them. What they are is they're drugs. You can take their pills and they tell your stomach to not produce as much stomach acid. So really it's a major problem because it's just treating the symptom. It's not addressing addressing the source of the issue. And anything in life, when you do it that way, of course, there could be some unexpected long-term or short-term negative side effect of taking pills or drugs like this. As you know, if you're a human, every time you see a prescription drug on in a commercial, it talks about how it solves the problem, and it shows the stories of people that are happier now since they're taking their drug. And then it says, oh, warning, though, side effects may include, headache, nausea, vomiting, heart attack, It says all these things as like, please speak to your doctor. So obviously you don't want the potential negative side effects. You don't want to trade problems. You don't want to basically treat the symptom, not have to give up coffee, not have to give up alcohol because you're taking this pill, but it opens you up to potentially like 5 other problems just as bad or worse. So if you do the smoothie idea, that could drastically help you because of the kale, because of the banana, the low glycemic index. It like wraps the coffee, it puts the coffee in like a bear hug, and it like makes it much easier for your stomach lining, and everything else to just kind of flow through your body, and you still get the net positive benefits of the caffeine boost and the caffeine buzzers. You've no doubt see I have a lot of energy. I just drank one that you saw that I was making in this video. So number 8, last and not least, you want to remove the source of the problem. You don't want to just address the symptoms. Like anything in life, there's an old Japanese proverb or quote that goes like this, like instead of sweeping the dirt off of the floor every single week, instead of hiring, paying, and having someone sweep the dirt from the floor every week in the factory, remove the source of the dirt. Not to put that guy out of a job, but to give him a different job. So remove the source of the dirt. So it means address the source of the problem, right? Address the source of the problem. So if you're having these stomach problems, address the source. If you want to have coffee, if you want to have alcohol, figure out like little creative ways or run little experiments on yourself. First of all, give it up for a very short period of time, just temporarily, definitely not permanently, because I understand I'm the same way. I want to keep drinking coffee, and then find other little ways to kind of skirt around that. And last but not least, if I didn't mention this already in the video, golden ratio coffee is a 5 times less acidic coffee that you can potentially try out. I personally haven't tried it out yet because I'm not in the United States, and shipping things overseas is a little bit difficult. So golden ratio coffee, I'll leave that in the description. It's basically a coffee you can buy, and you can drink it warm, you can drink it cold. It's easy to make, and also it's 5 times less acidic. It comes in different flavors, and my understanding is it's literally made for people who have stomach sensitivities to coffee but still want that caffeine boost in the morning. They can't live without it. So that's definitely something to check out. I'll put my link in the description down below. This has been Justin Spencer. I hope you got some value out of this video. If you did, please hit the like button because it will increase the chances of this video being spread to more people. Please consider subscribing as well. On this channel, I talk about business, finance, marketing, travel insights, and sometimes solving health problems like this. I hope you watch more of my videos, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.